Hello, and welcome to Sounding Board, a production of Charitable International of Novato. Believe it or not, 6,000 Marin County children are living below the federal poverty level, and 1,000 Marin students are homeless. Marin County tops the chart in educational achievement, and yet many children are in poor health and fall below state standards in education. These children are desperately in need of intervention and support. Thankfully, there is an organization called Marin Charitable that is trying to bridge this gap. Today, we'll be talking to Barbara Lee and Mara Connor, co-presidents of Marin Charitable. I'm Barbara Herwick, and I'll be your moderator today. But first, a word about Seroptimus of Novato. Our mission is to improve the lives of women and girls through programs leading to social and economic empowerment. We are so fortunate to have you both here today. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Our pleasure.
And Mara, let's start with you. Tell us about Marin Charitable and how it got started.
So actually, Marin Charitable started in 1961. So our organization has been around for more than 50 years. It started by a group of women that were raising funds for the cardiac care unit at Marin General Hospital. And a few years later, they saw that there was a greater need, and they changed their focus and began giving grants to nonprofits supporting children in Marin County.
And you've been involved with them for how long?
7 years, a little over 7 years.
And Barbara?
8 or 9,
And what drew you to this organization?
their mission, which is unique in the nonprofit funding area. We are the only funding agency in Marin County that visits every applicant who sends in an application to us. As far as I know, there are very few other organizations that visit all their applicants. So that's what the mission of the Grants Commission is, which I'm a member, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. And you have how many grantees right now?
For 2016, we had around 60.
Wow, and each of these organizations is visited?
It is. Mm-hmm.
Once or more than once?
Sometimes twice if there's a question, or when the process is when we go out and we interview, we come back and we present our nonprofit to the Grants Commission. If there's a question of something about this nonprofit and they want to know about it and we don't know about it, we go back and ask that question and bring it back again until everyone on the Grants Commission is in favor of granting an application or not granting an application.
Now, I know on your website you have a map, but we don't have a map to show our viewers today, but can you just give us an idea of how far reaching these grantees are? I mean, where are they located in Marin County? From where to where, would you say?
We have members and nonprofits throughout the entire county. So, you even have a member that lives in, Sonoma, but comes to our meetings and things like that. But as far as the nonprofits, they're concentrated between southern Marin and Sausalito, Marin City, as far north as it takes us. But
Into West Marin also.
Yeah.
Right,
West
you're out
Marin.
in Point Reyes, I believe,
Yes.
aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
What organization is out there?
the dance hall.
The Dance Palace.
Dance Palace, yeah, that is, it's a small community, so it's wonderful that we're able to support, activities and functions that go on there.
Right. And do you want to talk about the 3 areas, categories of the grants that your organization focuses on?
Yeah, as I said, it started to raise funds for the cardiac care unit, but then it went into education, and our organization has really evolved over these 50 plus years. But our current concentration is critical support. So we're talking about, the basic needs like food, shelter, clothing, any kind of therapy or prevention, things like that, whether it's drugs or gangs. That's the first kind of pillar. And then the second is education. So whether it's preparing somebody that might be a first generation person going to college, preparing for the college admissions tests, getting their applications in, going to college, helping pay for college, which obviously is very expensive. And there's also other educational nonprofits that we support that teaches children how to cook healthy meals, and they might not always have access to those healthier ways that actually affect their health. And then there's the third pillar is enrichment. So it can be anything from scholarships for sports activities and physical fitness and health. It can be arts, so Marin Symphony, or being able to go to live theater and be involved in that respect. So it's really our mission is to, we feel that every child, no matter of income, mental, social status, is able to have a wonderful and fulfilling childhood experience.
Right, right. And we do have 3 video clips showcasing these 3 different categories. And why don't we take a look now at this video clip, which features Next Generation Scholars, which she talks about just what you just said. So let's take a minute to see that.
Imagine trying to read Shakespeare having never seen a play before, or trying to decipher The Great Gatsby having never heard jazz. If play tickets are $35 a piece and your rent is $300, it's kind of a stretch. And what we do is we enable those children to go and see a Shakespearean play, and that enables them to have a much deeper, richer understanding of the books that they read in school. My name is Sally Matsuishi, and I'm the Executive Director of Next Generation Scholars. So Next Generation Scholars is a college access program that provides full academic curriculum coupled with wraparound social services that enables every child that's in this program to gain access to college. We always talk about it's not just surviving, it's thriving. We have students at Stanford, Georgetown, Santa Clara, USC, Yale, every single day, over and over again, year after year, all day long. I get to see those moments where you know a kid is going to get out. It's not just getting out of the canal or Marin City or Novato or out of public housing. It's the ideas. We're making change makers. We're making the people who will change the world. Absolutely best job ever made. Just an amazing place to be. Next Generation Scholars started out very small. We were borrowing spaces for people, and my office was a milk crate. And that's when I first applied for the Marin Charitable Association grant. And it was the first major grant that we got. Marin Charitable Association actually sends someone out to talk to you about your program. And I thought, this is actually what community is. Because of them, we can make a huge impact on the community. And I will always be grateful for that.
So now that we've seen that, that will give our viewers a little bit of insight into the kind of organizations that you support. Do you want to talk about trips for kids? That's a whole different category.
Yeah, that is part of the enrichment portion of our giving. Do you want to talk about Trips for Kids, or you want me to?
Well, it's a unique organization started by one woman, and she's grown it into this, I want to use the word magnificent. It really is a nonprofit. The children are given bikes, but first they have to learn how to repair bikes, and then they're given that bike, and they're from all over areas, and then there are people who donate their time to take these kids on trips on the bike. And it's a wonderful, wonderful program.
Yeah, they get to see, parts of Marin that they probably wouldn't see otherwise,
Right,
being
right.
out in nature and, doing mountain biking or what have you. But as Barbara was saying, these children have the opportunity to work towards getting a bike for themselves, whether they're working on repairs or in sales, like they sell bike parts and things like that, so that they can eventually, earn a bicycle, which is really fantastic.
I see. So they actually come to this place and they practice on these bikes, and then they go out on these trips and then get the bike? Is that how it works?
They have to learn how to repair a bike. I'm not sure how extensively they have to learn it, but they have to learn to repair a bike before they're ever given a bike, so that they're not dependent on someone else repairing their bikes, which is another skill they learn.
Right. Okay, so let's take a minute and look at this video.
I spent a couple years volunteering in San Francisco, and I was around many kids. At the same time, I love mountain biking, and I would go out on my bike in Marin. And one day I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to bring the kids that I saw from the city out here on a mountain bike? And that was the seed that started Trips for Kids. I'm Marilyn Price, founder and director of Trips for Kids. The kids come from social service agencies, after-school programs. They can come from abused homes. 50% of them have never been outside the setting of the city. Some of our children also are able to participate in our Earn a Bike program. They're able to earn points toward bikes and parts of their own just by learning how to work on bikes. And the third thing is we run a bike thrift shop, and it's very much like a Goodwill Salvation Army, but all contains bicycle items that are for sale. Well, we are a Marin-based organization, so we love the fact that a Marin Foundation is believing in the value of what we do. I particularly like the fact that Marin Charitable gets to know us firsthand. They come to visit us before they fund us each year, and they become familiar with our program, our employees, and how we're run, and see firsthand what we're doing. If you're biking in Marin, you know that they're hills, and you have to get up to the top of the hill in order to be able to go down. And one of the things that the kids do pick up is the understanding that if I work with it and keep doing it, I can do it. I can get to the top, and that's a very important notion, particularly for the kids that we work with.
So now let's turn our attention to the basics of Marin Charitable. Let's talk about your goals for the organization.
Well, as with most organizations, awareness, getting our name out there is one of our big priorities. As I had told you before, with an organization that's over 50 years old, I still feel that Marin Charitable is kind of the best kept secret in the nonprofit world of Marin Charitable. Of Marin County. We're, through shows like this, through our website, through events, local media, we're trying to get our name out there and get noticed more, so that in turn we can attract more attention to our purpose and raise additional funds for granting out. And we talked a little bit about the vetting process, the unique vetting process that Marin Charitable has, but also something that's rather unique to the nonprofit world is that we have no paid board of directors. Everybody is a volunteer. We've all volunteer our time, and often monetarily support. So our dues and underwriting by our members pays for all our operational expenses, so that every single penny that we raise during our fundraisers and small host parties and things like that is granted out.
That's amazing.
To these organizations.
Yeah, there's so many nonprofits that people always question about how much of my money goes right to the cause. So
and that was one of the reasons that I joined this organization. I was like, that it's almost unheard of. And so I love the fact that any kind of effort, any kind of money that I was able to put into the organization was going directly to help the children of Marin County.
Yeah, that's so good. So what are the obstacles, though, in getting the word out? it seems like,
Getting in the newspaper.
right.
There are a lot of us out there vying for space in the independent journal. So it's hard.
And
It's
not
hard.
only do our members, so our member, we have I think Barbara and I are pretty representative of our membership base. Our ages span, 6 decades at some points. And we have different backgrounds and, different income levels and that sort of thing. But it all works because it all comes together because we all have that single focus, which is to help the children of our county. So it's wonderful. And one of the obstacles is because we have such a large demographic that, there's people that read print, there's people that watch TV, there's people that get their information online. So we've really been trying to, we revamped our website last year, and we, encourage people to sign up to, get periodic news and information about the organization, what we're doing. And we'll send e-newsletters to our larger subscriber base to let them know what's going on. And so there's different ways that we can reach out to people, and we're just trying to beef those up a little bit.
Right. Well, maybe we should do another show where we go out to the different organizations and see the
lovely.
organizations.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, it
you
would.
know,
Yes.
up close and personal.
Absolutely.
yes,
I'm
yes.
sure that the nonprofits would appreciate it and love it. I mean, and it's funny, whenever I tell anybody that I'm involved with a charitable organization in Marin County, they kind of look at me sideways. I mean, it sounds very much like an oxymoron. Here we have, one of the wealthiest communities, and there are people that are living under the poverty line, like you said, or facing homelessness, dealing with homelessness, these issues. And, yes, there are pockets like Marin City or the Canal District, but there's other challenges that children between the ages of really around 11 and 18 are dealing with that we really focus our attention on.
Right. And when we spoke before, you said you really focus on the age 11 to 18.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like it's almost one of the forgotten segments, with organizations, when babies are cute and lovable. I mean, you can't help but want to pour your heart out and give as much as you can to little babies, but there's children that are either in the foster system or, like I said, in having one of these challenging situations where, they need to have our support too. So we want to give them every opportunity to have a happy and fulfilling childhood.
And do you follow up on these kids?
Yeah, actually we get, well, you could probably speak to it because it's more of like a grant.
We get reports back at the end of the year, or however the calendar year works, about what they've accomplished with this grant, what the budget was and what they did with the money. So I'm impressed again with this organization in that their responsibility to their mission and responsibility to those that we serve.
Right. Well, I was really impressed when I watched the 2 videos. I just wanted to just jump in and donate right then and there. Those were powerful videos.
I hope lots of people do here too.
Exactly.
Right. So, what about inspirational mentors? Do you have any inspirational mentors?
Well, I'm lucky enough to be co-presidenting with this lovely lady. She's not only a wonderful, giving, kind human being, but she has a lot of background as the founder and executive director for a local nonprofit. I just what more can you ask for? But really, the entire membership serves inspiration. These people have different backgrounds, different professional knowledge, and like I said, it all comes together and really helps to further our mission and be able to serve as many kids as we can.
There's one member of our grants commission who had never known about this at all, that there were needy people in Marin, and she was just awestruck when she started hearing. And to her credit, she stayed and she's on the commission. So.
And your grants committee, you said to me earlier, meets once a year? I mean, they go out once a year to...
Well, it's over a segment of about 3 months. We start meeting twice a week. So it's a big commitment to want to do this. And we meet from September to January, interviewing, coming back, talking it over, going back out to the agencies if we have to, and then sitting around a table. It's a little bit like poker. Because I'll give you $100 from my commission for those people, you know. So it's wonderful. Everybody wants everybody to win.
Right, but I bet once you've gone out and interviewed the organization, you're really
Well,
pushing
that's
for
interesting because I think the people on the grants committee are very objective, even though their hearts are there. They're also objective. Like if you can't give me a budget for what you're going to do with your money, then you're not a good risk, unfortunately. And so we don't just go out with our hearts wide open and say you can have anything you want. It's not that way.
And do you ask for the financials of the organization?
Yes, we do.
And so you vet through looking at the financials as well as what they're...
Yes. They have to put in an application that covers all of that, plus any publicity they've had, and then they have to outline what they want to do with the money from us.
Okay. And, well, let's talk about philosophy. What's your philosophy or the organization's philosophy, would you say? Is it...
Well, I always think of it as collaboration, and again, it's being involved in an organization that really spans decades and backgrounds and income levels and all that, but everybody contributing what they can, whether it's their time, their talent, or their treasure is what they say, I guess, and you know, coming together for a common purpose. But it's the collaboration, it's the, you know, having somebody step up to chair an event, say, and then seeing all these people, you know, if there's a need, if there's a request, all these people saying, yeah, I'll give you my time, I'm willing to help out. Oh, I love decorating, or I love, you know, doing the auction items. I can take care of that. That's, you know, right in my wheelhouse. I mean, it's that kind of thing. It's that collaborative spirit that I think really, you know, is the main philosophy, I guess, of our group, or how we do things. But.
Do you want to add to that?
No, we have 2 fundraisers a year. The Floral Fling, which is a sort of a ladies' lunch at the Marin Country Club. And then we have Oktoberfest, which is a real Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Lots of beer.
And that's coming up.
Yeah,
That's
that is
coming up.
the end of September.
At the Marin Unity Church?
Unity in Marin in Novato. They have a large outdoor courtyard which we transform into a beer garden, and we have a lot of the decorations, the food, underwritten by our members. Again, we already have our beer sponsor again this year. Iron Springs in Fairfax is going to be donating all the beer, and last year was the first year that we did the Oktoberfest. And the chairperson, Jenny Kelly, you know, was like, how much fun would this be? I mean, it's not having to get all dressed up, unless you want to, in case you have a dirndl or lederhosen, that we actually encourage it, but not to have to get really dolled up and, you know, fancy to go raise money for a good cause, and lots of fun. So we're actually bringing it back by popular demand this year for a second year in a row, and it was so much fun last year that we just had to do it again.
It does sound like fun. I just was thinking that I'm not sure that we mentioned how many Marin students that you've actually reached over the last 11 years. I believe I read on your website it was 70,000. Is that right?
I don't, It's not only students, but I mean it's Marin youth.
Yeah,
the
Marin
youth
youth.
in Marin. I don't know what the exact number is, but we reach as many as we can with what we've got.
That's quite an accomplishment to reach all those
Well,
children
and it's
in need.
also a big credit to the nonprofits that we fund because we're raising as much money as we can so that we can give them grants, and they in turn are helping to support the youth of our county. And I read somewhere that Marin County actually has, at least at the time of the article, the highest per capita nonprofits of any county or in the state of California. And for every 1,000 residents of this county, there are 7 nonprofits. So, I mean, there's a lot of need, there's a lot of asks. When we do our granting ceremony, where we have all the grantees come and pick up their checks for their grants and that sort of thing. But what we've also done that I think might kind of also be unique is that we give them an opportunity to network. So if there's a nonprofit that says, I'm really looking for suggestions for transportation. That's a place where we're lacking, and there might be another organization that maybe has complementary things. Maybe they have a bus, and they can say, okay, we're willing to help you with the transportation. Or there are nonprofits. If you have that many, you're bound to get some kind of overlap. So we're trying to bring them together so that they can work together to make their nonprofits even stronger. So it's all around, feel good.
So they're collaborating just like you
exactly.
are.
Yes.
That's great. Well, we just have a few minutes left, and do you have any final thoughts for our viewers?
Come to
join
our
us.
events. Yeah, exactly. Go to our website, marincharitable.org. You can find out about how to donate. You can find out about upcoming events. You can apply for membership. We would love to have more people join, because the more people join, again, that helps with our exposure. They've got friends and family that might want to join. It's, from my heart, I speak that this is one of the best organizations that I've ever been involved with.
Amen.
Well, thank you both so much for being here.
you.
And
Thank
we'd like to thank the Novato Community TV Access and the viewers for watching our show today. Thank you very much.